Hello, Jen Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. If you've been watching my vlog for a while, you know that more often than not, I'll have a main subject for the day, but before I get to that main subject, I'll have some smaller items that I want to cover. Well, today is going to be a first, I think, because I have two main subjects, two subjects that I both felt were important. I think I have to talk about both of them. The first one, well, actually both of them concern the president, but this first item is, well, I'll go right to it. I'll start with Trump's approval in the Rasmussen poll. Trump's approval rating today is 52%, compared to Obama at 50% at the same point in Obama's first term. But this is the big news. This is, well, potentially big news if it signals the start of a trend. It's the race between Biden and Trump. Biden has been ahead. Well, every poll, Biden has been ahead in the national vote, and that includes Rasmussen. The spread has varied, but Biden has always been ahead until today. Here's the headline. It's called White House Watch on the website. I'm going to link to it. This White House Watch is the contest between Biden and Trump. They are right now doing it every Wednesday. It comes out around noon. But as we get closer to the election, I think he's going to be doing it, Rasmussen. Well, I shouldn't say he, because Scott Rasmussen sold the site, so it's now some company running it. But I think they're going to start doing it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, as we get closer to the election. I could be wrong, but let me just give you the information here from the website. President Trump has now edged to a 1-point lead over Democratic nominee Joe Biden in the latest Rasmussen Reports weekly White House Watch survey. While statistically insignificant, it's the first time Trump has been ahead. The new National Telephone and Online Survey finds the president with a 47% to 46% lead over Biden among likely U.S. voters. 3% prefer some other candidate, while 4% remain undecided. The race has narrowed over the past 2 weeks. Biden had a 2-point lead last week, but that survey also marked the first time Trump had edged above 45% over the past 2.5 months. Prior to this week, Biden has bested Trump in every weekly survey since White House Watch began at the beginning of July. Now here's some interesting info coming up. Pay attention to this. The new survey finds Trump with 80% support among Republicans and a 9-point lead among voters not affiliated with either major party. Biden has 80% of the Democrat vote. That 9-point lead, voters not affiliated with either major party, that's just another way of saying independent. I recall past polls where Trump was behind with independents. Now he's ahead, at least with Rasmussen, and significantly ahead, 9-point lead. But this is really interesting. Trump shows surprising strength among other minority voters, suggesting perhaps that he is attracting Hispanic support as violent racial protests continue in many major cities. It will be interesting to see if this support holds up in the weeks ahead. It will be interesting to see if this holds up. That's what I was talking about a few moments ago, that this could be an outlier, but it could be the start of a trend. We'll have to wait and see. I am going to be checking, well, I already do, the Rasmussen site and another site called RealClearPolitics.com. I urge all of you to do the same. Now on to today's other main subject, which is about the bankruptcy of our mainstream press and who is better at illustrating this than Kayleigh McEnany. So that's my other suggestion, or my other urging. I urge everybody to watch her press conferences. She does not take any nonsense from the press, and there is a lot of nonsense from the press. The press is totally bankrupt. They are totally committed to electing Democrats, and they are totally committed to trashing Donald Trump, and today was a perfect illustration. I watched the press conference today, and remember, keep this in mind, this is the day after a historic peace agreement signed at the White House among Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. This historic agreement, one would think, well, one can be sure, we can all be sure that if this had happened during an Obama presidency, had that been Obama at that table with the leaders of Israel and 2 Arab countries signing this historic agreement, you can be sure that the coverage would have been a lot different. First of all, there would have been a lot more of it. As I said in the past, I don't have a TV, I don't watch TV, but I do watch shows on the internet. I watch various news shows and I go to various websites. So they are reporting, or one news source was reporting, a conservative news source was reporting that the major media, the TV stations, CBS, ABC, NBC, they devoted about a minute and a half to this very important story, which gets me to the press briefing today with Kayleigh McEnany, because you would think that the press would have some question, just one question about this historic event, but no. Every question was, or almost every question was about coronavirus and is Trump doing enough? What are the death figures? And she started the press conference by noting the 2 police officers who were recently shot in LA. She listed a number of other incidents within a month that happened in a month of police being shot. And she got no questions on that. So that's strike 1, strike 2, and strike 3. Let's put them together, right? So we have 3 strikes. No questions about this historic event. No questions at all, actually, that were positive towards Donald Trump. They just asked these other gotcha questions, and in fact, what you're going to see, well, I'll tell you about the end of what you're going to see. I'll just let you see it, and that will be my closing comment. But Kayleigh McEnany dealt with all these questions. I again urge everybody to just go on YouTube and watch a replay of the entire conference. But here's what she said to the press at the end. Watch what she says, listen to what she says, and to what a reporter shouts out at her as she is leaving the podium.
I'm not going to weigh into any personnel matters. As you know, he has taken a leave of absence that was announced just before I came out here. But what I will weigh into is the Middle East peace deal signed yesterday that I did not receive a single question about. That was the first time it's happened in a quarter of a century. If Obama and Biden had achieved this, there would look a lot different. You wouldn't have Chuck Todd saying he's uncomfortable with the deal that brings peace between the United Arab Emirates and Israel and Bahrain. You wouldn't have CBS calling it, quote, a business deal, and you wouldn't have Nancy Pelosi calling it a distraction. Maybe it's a distraction from her visits to the hair salon, but those were significant agreements. First time in a quarter of a century, 3 peace deals in 29 days. Took 26 years for the prior 2 peace deals. So this, the Nobel Peace Prize nomination for the president, 2 of them, very well deserved. Thank you.
Kayleigh, if he's a law and order president, why does he keep breaking the law?
Nothing I can add to what Kayleigh McEnany just said. She laid it out for the press again, read him the Riot Act, called them out for the umpteenth time. I've lost count of how many times she's chastised the press, and they learn nothing. They just keep doing the same thing. It's just amazing to me that the press, watching these replays, are not embarrassed or even ashamed. I am amazed that their editors are not calling them out, saying, come on, you're a reporter, ask some substantive questions. But of course, the editors don't do that because they, like the reporters, the editors and the reporters, are totally committed to electing Joe Biden President of the United States specifically, and in general, just electing Democrats. They really are, as Glenn Reynolds, a blogger, one of my favorite bloggers, he does a blog called instapundit.com. Another, I guess I'm giving website recommendations today. He calls these reporters Democratic operatives with bylines. That is exactly what they are, and just putting the nail in their own coffins, pounding the nails themselves into their own coffins as far as credibility goes, or pounding the nails into the coffins of their credibility. You heard that last question. She's walking off and some reporter shouts out, Kayleigh, the president is the chief law enforcement officer. How can he be breaking the law? Well, to that reporter, I guess, a serious question, but a question from an actual question from the press. This is what we are cursed with. It is just sad, but if I could end on a happy note, or if you could help me end on a happy note, I would really love a thumbs up if you like this video. Share with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can put them in the comment section below the video, as well as questions, suggestions for future topics. You could subscribe. I love getting subscribers. But most of all, thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate it. I know your time is valuable. I try not to take up too much of it. I hope I give you some value in return, but thank you for spending some time with me. I hope I'll see you all again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.